Well, I guess I'm going to kind of start now. And I just want to note that, well, now we are halfway through the year. And what a year it has been. With all that's going on around us, from pandemic to economic recession to racial injustice, spirits are low and emotions are understandably high here in most of the United States. However, in the midst of all this, welcome to the Yin-Shun Zoom Summer Retreat. We can call it a Zoomer Retreat. There has been a whole lot of Zooming going on during the last 4 months. So I imagine that most of you have Zoomed, and a lot of you have Zoomed a lot. This Zoom retreat is our first transcontinental or trans-Pacific summer retreat, because the others will be Zooming in. Well, one is already Zooming in from Australia, and the other one will be Zooming in from Taiwan. As for me, and this is Henry's answer, I am in Williamsport, Maryland. It's a section of Maryland called Western Maryland, about 70 miles northwest of Washington, D.C. It's a town on the Potomac River, just west of the Blue Ridge Mountains and 13 miles from the Appalachian Trail. I live in a retirement community here with my black cat named Fred. And right now, if you want to see, I can show you Fred. He's sleeping right there. However, he has a way of getting into things and making himself known. So you may hear him or see him. Sometimes you'll see a black tail crossing the screen. We're glad you are here with us in the Zoom sphere with us. Please, I would like you now to please introduce us by telling us your name and location and whether you have attended any of our retreats before. So if Larry will unmute people, we can just go down the list, starting with Robin. Tell us, I know you've attended before, but tell us where you are and anything else you want to say briefly. So unmute, and we can go down the list.
People can unmute themselves, but
okay, then start with Robin.
The problem is that everyone's screen will display a different order of people.
Oh,
So
okay.
it'll be a little chaotic.
Let's go according to your order.
Okay. So in terms of my order, Anne-Marie's first. So.
All right. So I just unmute.
I just unmuted you. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Anne-Marie, Stockholm, New Jersey. I practice with Bodhi Monastery. And hello, everyone.
And
okay.
Next is...
Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi.
Next is Fee.
Hi, everybody. This is Faye.
Hey, Faye.
Yeah.
Hi, Faye.
Welcome to the Bodhi Monastery, Yin-Shun Foundation Dharma Retreat. And I'm supposed to be standing there talking, but with the Zoom online, I cannot see you guys. I don't have money to buy a camera to show my face. So anyway, but we will have a good program this year. Unfortunately, the timing is so off because teachers is overseas the other side. They cannot come. And then we stuck with this computer. And I hope everybody got my last schedule change. It will be like in the evening today. We have changed to 6 o'clock and 7:30, 2 lectures. And another thing is we cannot open the speaker for asking questions, but if you guys going to put in the email to me, I will send it to the teachers, and the class start the next one, they will answer it, because the timing is so off and we have to be very careful. They're going to get shut off or something, but mostly is their time is different than ours. So you may need to be sleepy or go to eat or something. I don't know. But anyway, but we have our time is pretty good. I'm in New Jersey. Everybody knows that, but not in Bodhi Monastery now. Now it's in my house. So anything else I needed, and then you can just email me. Everybody got the handout, right?
Yes.
Got them.
So anybody can send me those questions, and then the teacher will continue. I hope everybody got the handout earlier to study because they are very. I was telling Professor Roehm, it's difficult
very technical.
terminology. It's very yes, yeah. So okay, I don't talk anymore. Everybody have to listen to my group.
All right, next.
Next is Jane Marie Doe.
Morning, I'm Jane, and I'm in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and this is my 17th retreat in a row.
He needs an award for that.
Next is Venerable Yangrong.
Hi, everyone. I'm in Bullio, which is about 2 hours out of Sydney, Australia. It's 10:38 p.m. So, and I just have to ask, can you hear the dog outside?
Yes.
Sorry.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay, sorry. She's very on guard every night, so doing her job. But hello to everyone, and yeah, given the circumstances, I'm glad that we can still have this retreat in a different way, but we can still share the Dharma and learn together.
And next is Henry.
Oh, hi, this is Henry and Lily Teo, formerly from Long Island, New York, now presently retired and living in Pennsylvania. Welcome, everybody.
And next is Sunhee Kim.
Hi, I'm Sunhee. Retreat. So I'm so glad that I can be reconnected this time, and I'm so glad to see everybody.
And next,
very nice, Sugi.
Hi, Faye.
Yes, I'm so glad to see you again.
Me too. I just cannot see your face now, but it's okay. I hear you.
next is Susanna.
Hi, I'm here in Long Island, New York, and this is my first retreat. My Tai Chi Qigong teacher told me about it, and she tried to encourage me to come last year, but I had a conflict, and so I'm now here, and I'm glad to be part of this.
All right, thank you. Next is Bob.
Next.
Okay. This is my
All
first
right,
retreat. I, in April, moved to Durham, North Carolina when I retired. So that's where I'm watching from.
Welcome.
Yes, welcome. Next is Bowie and CC.
Who is it?
Bowie and CC.
Hello.
Yeah.
This is Bowie and CC.
Hello.
Hello. Where are you?
We're actually in Hong Kong right now.
Oh wow.
Everything's still under control, so we just joined. We actually had a bit of a problem. With our laptop, so we couldn't have the audio properly installed. That's why we couldn't. That's why we have to use another device to dial in.
Okay.
And next is Dana.
Hi,
Dana?
I'm from Wayne, New Jersey. I've been going to the Bodhi Monastery the last couple of years.
Nice to see you, Dana.
Nice to see you all.
And next is Helena.
Hi everyone. I'm from Sydney, Australia. I was fortunate enough to come to the retreat with Venerable Yanrong a couple of years ago. So it's nice to see you all again. There's some familiar faces again. So I look forward to the Dharma talk.
So you will come next year, Helena?
Huh?
You will come
I hope
next
so. Hopefully we can get rid of this. Hopefully COVID will run its course and we'll find a vaccine and everything will work. Will be magical again.
Okay.
And if that happens, I'd love to come again. Thanks.
And next is Jitang.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Jayta. I'm actually located in Westchester, New York, Westchester County, New York. It's 35 minutes from New York City. This is my first retreat. I got this information from Zhangyan study group. I look forward to the Dharma talk.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And next is Joan.
Hi, my name is Joan Winter. I'm in Long Valley, New Jersey, and this is my second retreat. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Nice to see another familiar face. Next is Justine.
Justine?
She hasn't unmuted herself.
Justine or Justin?
Sorry, Justin.
Justin.
Justin. Sorry.
Because I think I saw Justine on the email list. My name is Justin. I am in Lake Hiawatha, New Jersey. That's about 20 minutes maybe from Bodhi Monastery. And this is my first time.
Next.
It's basically doing alphabetical for me. So next is Kim Trin.
Hi, I'm from Sydney, Australia. This is my first retreat, and I was invited to join a retreat via Venerable Yanrong.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And next is Liana, another familiar face.
Yes, hi. My name is Liana. I'm currently in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. I've been coming to the retreats on and off for more than a decade now. Nice to see all of you.
You're welcome again. Hope to see you more, Liana.
Next is Matt.
Hi, my name is Matthew. I'm from New Jersey, and this is my first retreat.
Matt, can you recording our lectures?
Yeah, it's
So
working.
you're gonna post it up right away?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Next is Mimi.
Where's Mimi?
Hi, morning, everybody. I'm from New Jersey, but I moved to Florida last year, so I'm from joining from the New Florida right now.
Nice to hear from you, Mimi.
Next is Patricia.
Hi, I'm Patricia. I'm from Wharton, New Jersey. This is my third retreat, but my first with Bodhi, and I am very grateful.
Hey, thank you. And next is Rob.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. I'm Rob. I'm broadcasting live from New York City, from Manhattan. I've been coming to the retreats on and off for the past 15-ish years. So this is my first virtual retreat. I think it's everybody's first virtual retreat. So I'm looking forward to how we run this one. Good to see you all.
Next is Robin.
That would be Justine. This was my son's computer. I'm coming from Boston area, which is Hingham, Massachusetts, on the coast. I live on a hill. And I've been coming for, now this will be my 10th year. And I've been working off my feet as a nurse assistant, home health aide. And I mean, this is a break for me because I've been exposed to you know, COVID, but then I tested negative because I have to be careful with every patient I go, and I have to wear a mask and gloves at all times. So I'm busy with that. I'm sorry, I have a couple dogs here that my mother's babysitting, and then my dog who sits on the seat behind me. So you may hear one of them calling out. So I just wanted to let you know that. Okay.
See you again.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Should I unmute? Should I mute now? I mean,
Yeah, you can.
if I can finally get it to work.
And I think the last one is Steve.
Yes, can you hear me? So, my name is Steve Puder. My wife and I live in Blairstown. I'm frequently enough at 30, but this is the first seminar that I've attended, at least before the seminar. So pleased to be here. My wife is Chinese, so she's on the Chinese version of the same seminar right now in a different way. So pleased to be here. Thank you.
I'm glad that you can come, Steve.
Thank you, Faye.
So I think that's everyone.
Okay.
The order is shuffled a little bit, but I think that was the last one.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, the different kinds of computers will display it differently. That much I know. Okay, zooming the annual retreat does change the retreat's character quite a bit. Well, for example, there is no morning, noon, or evening Chinese liturgy, no group meditation, no evening Q&A, no book exchange, no casual conversations, no kushball, and above all, no scrumptious Chinese vegetarian food made by skilled volunteers. And there are some housekeeping points that have been mentioned, such as keep yourself muted unless you are going to speak, and after speaking, please remute yourself. We know, of course, that we are in this situation because of the coronavirus or COVID-19 pandemic. The media headlines have been full and are still full of words like lockdown, panic buying, death toll, crisis, isolation, stock market drops, coronavirus, job loss, protests, global pandemic, events canceled, travel restrictions, social distancing, quarantine, crowded hospitals, a new outbreak, ventilators, hotspots, nursing home deaths, face masks, and so much more. Efforts to contain and eventually eradicate this pandemic have called for wearing face masks, sanitizing surfaces, lots of hand washing, testing, contact tracing, hospitalization, social distancing, and more. Many have died. Many people have lost their income, lost their businesses, lost their jobs. Unemployment in the United States is the worst since the Great Depression, and the economy is in a recession, perhaps a depression in the fall. The situation started out as a health crisis in the United States, and it is a health crisis, and also became an economic crisis. Then the videoed May 25th murder of George Floyd by a policeman in Minneapolis added another crisis, thus provoking further revelations of more such heinous killings of Black and brown Americans, especially Black men, which ripped the cover off the systemic racism in American society. These events coming together have created a lot of stress, uncertainty, fear, grief, anxiety, anger, confusion, isolation, boredom, loss, loneliness, and more. Many people have found it difficult to cope. These are definitely uncertain and troubling times. We have been able to cope with various past crises like the terrorist attacks of 9/11, but at those times we could get together and comfort one another and work in groups to make things better. This time, however, most of us are still sheltering in isolation or semi-isolation, which makes it very difficult for people to deal with the situation, or at least for some people to deal with the situation. Here are some ways to cope, survive, maybe even thrive from a Buddhist point of view. One of the biggest emotions people are having trouble with is fear. The emotions of anxiety, anger, and hate can be said to rise from fear. As Dharma teacher Josh Korda has pointed out, in trying to ignore, flee from, or suppress our fear, that is not effective. When trying to do that, suppress fear, it festers and reemerges, perhaps even stronger. The famous Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step program begins with an alcoholic admitting that he or she is an alcoholic. So it is with fear. One of my former teachers, the late Daido Roshi of Zen Mountain Monastery, used to bellow in the Zendo, "Become the fear!" Meaning, face it, acknowledge it, don't flee from it, don't hide from it. Korda remarks that, as many wonderful psychologists have noted, when we stop suppressing our emotional experience, stress and anxiety are invariably alleviated. Instead of the dreadful acting as if there were no fear, we would do well to disclose and own our own feelings, for they are every bit as valuable and worthy of attention as our ideas and accomplishments. Once acknowledged, once faced, the feeling of fear can be dealt with. And Korda offers the following exercise. After developing some state of ease, well, first of all, sit. And then after developing a state of ease through some concentration-based meditation, like observing the breath, reciting loving kindness verses are some examples, bring to mind a situation that causes fear, a desire to flee or isolate yourself. To further activate the emotion, ask yourself, how does it feel to be vulnerable? How does it feel to be unsafe? Or other resonant questions. Notice any uncomfortable sensations that appear, such as a tightness in the abdomen or a general physical antsiness. Let go of any tendency to resist the sensations or to stay focused on the mental image that activated the feeling. Korda has even practiced thinking, hello, welcome, to his fears. When fear arises, to remove any tendency to avoid the inner experience. Breathe into it. Relax the areas around the fear, but not the core physical sensations themselves. For example, if we feel anxiety most acutely in the chest or throat, allow those areas to remain activated. Focus instead on relaxing the shoulders, the arms, the abdomen. We're making space for the fear, allowing it to grow, even though it is uncomfortable. Recognize the impulse to turn away from fear and to return to the actual sensations. Keep your attention on the sensations of anxiety and investigate how they change, as if you were a zoologist observing different species. The goal is to observe and nurture your anxiety. Only when emotions are truly attended can they be endured and transformed into useful energies that express our needs and help guide us through life. Once you have faced your anxiety and fear, rather than ignore or try to hide from it, you can then befriend it, and learn the message it is telling you. And then fear will begin to lessen. Everyday mindfulness with our activities is another approach, not just mindfulness in special sessions. This is stitching your practice, especially mindfulness, into all aspects of the tapestry of your life, especially now that you may have some time to develop this. Some people find they have more time on their hands than they originally thought they would ever have. First, slow down. Begin the day with waking mindfulness. When you wake up, sit on the edge of your bed and ground yourself in being aware of your body, how it feels, its posture. Note the feeling of sitting on the edge of your bed, of your posterior on the edge of the bed, perhaps your legs against the bedside, your feet on the floor. Don't be in a rush to stand up. Start slowly. Your feet are on the floor. Do you feel the carpet? If it is a carpet, or is it wood, or something else? How does it feel? Cold, warm? Note the feeling of what you are wearing. Or, if you're not wearing anything, the feeling of air on your skin. What do you hear, smell, see? After doing this, then stand up, noting the change in your posture and how the weight of your body changes. Just stand there, don't move. No different bodily feeling in standing. And then when you start to walk, continue in this way to make morning mindfulness a foundation of your daily practice. This, of course, is fundamental practice that goes back to the Buddha. Recall the words of the Satipatthana Sutta. And further, monk knows when he is going, I am going. He knows when he is standing, I am standing. He knows when he is sitting, I am sitting. He knows when he is lying down, I am lying down. Or just as his body is disposed, so he knows it. Thus he lives, contemplating the body and the body internally, or he lives contemplating the body and the body externally, or he lives contemplating the body both internally and externally. Speaking of moving, it is vital not only to move, but to make general mindfulness of everyday movements part of your daily practice. Back to the Satipatthana Sutta. And further, monks, a monk in going forward and back applies clear comprehension. In looking straight on and looking away, he applies clear comprehension. In bending and in stretching, he applies clear comprehension. In wearing robes and carrying the bowl, he applies clear comprehension. In eating, drinking, chewing, and savoring, he applies clear comprehension. In walking, in standing, in sitting, in falling asleep, in waking, in speaking, and in keeping silence, he applies clear comprehension. Here I should note that clear comprehension is a word that is often joined with mindfulness in the Pali texts. Sati Sampanjanya. Sampanjanya is clear comprehension. Very often they are joined together. It is important to remember, therefore, that the point of Buddhist meditation is not to sit on a cushion, but to bring about transformation in your life. And life is doing, it is activity, it is dynamic. And the point of mindfulness in this is not just to be in the moment, to be in the now, but to grow clear comprehension, clarity of understanding. Practicing everyday mindfulness during this pandemic helps you develop a sound, stable foundation to deal with what comes, with what you experience, to face whatever comes during our unsettled time. As clear comprehension develops into understanding, and understanding develops into wisdom, you are even better prepared. Excuse me. Walking meditation is a wonderful practice to stitch into your routine. When working in Washington, D.C., where I used to live, I did walking meditation when going places on campus. When working also at George Washington University, also in Washington, D.C., I did walking meditation, walking from my condo to the university and back again. I also do it sometimes while hiking on the Appalachian Trail or walking about my retirement community. For example, this morning at 5:45, I did a mile circuit at my retirement community, and I began by using walking meditation. Such walking meditation is not the classical, stylized, super slow motion, highly concentrated form of Vipassana retreats. It is not the rapid or slow Zen Kinhin style, and not the Thich Nhat Hanh style. It's done as part of your everyday activities. It is something that you can kind of click into whenever the opportunity affords it. It involves just enough mindfulness to stay with it, as well as invest and navigate yourself to where you are going without bumping into people and things or getting run over. So this is kind of like a semi-mindfulness. It's not extremely concentrated, but it can be done. You might just look a little peculiar. Once I was going to teach my morning class at George Washington University, and I was doing walking meditation while going down 22nd Street in DC. And a friend of mine worked in a nearby building, just happened to be coming out of the building. I knew him from the Buddhist group in the Unitarian Universalist Church of Arlington. And he said, "Michael, you're practicing walking meditation, aren't you?" And that I was watching where I was going, yet I was also mindful, but I was clearly, to an outside observer, very focused. So it is something you can just go into whenever you are practicing or doing daily activities. There's a point to remember here also is that sitting meditation, formal sitting or silent retreat meditation, and daily mindfulness are two things that as you strengthen them, begin to merge. They begin to go into each other to create a whole cloth, so that your entire life becomes more or less part of your practice. This was easy at American University, which has a very beautiful campus with some very nice green lawns and sidewalks and shade trees. So sometimes I would come out of one building not thinking of doing walking meditation, thinking of going to another site. And then en route, all of a sudden, my mind would say, you can do walking meditation, and then I would be able to do a little bit of that. And the more of the daily mindfulness that you do, of many different kinds, that strengthens your practice, that strengthens your sitting strengthens your daily practice. Very good to do during times like coronavirus, where you're isolated or you're not able to communicate with other people very much. Excuse me. Yeah. A cat has just been heard from. Okay, so it involves just enough mindfulness to stay with it, as well as to navigate yourself to where you're going without bumping into people and things or getting run over. Here's how to begin. When you take your first step, mentally note whether it is left or right. Then continue noting left, right, or if you like, right, left, left. Notice this is akin to the counting approach to beginning breathing mindfulness. When the right, left pattern stays and you're able to focus and feel that you're using your right, left, then you can note how your feet and legs feel when you lift, move, and place them. Don't go too fast and don't go too slow. Just use a natural pace. Get used to this. If you're interrupted by a friend, a stoplight, something else, resume when you start walking again. By the way, when you stop, note how that feels. So stop and then note and then begin again when you can. By the way, when you stop, this everyday style will not only improve your awareness, but of course it improves your calmness. While doing this, your mind wanders less, judges less, stresses less, angsts less. And curious thing about this particular practice, once you get into the habit of it and develop it as a regular way of practicing, you will begin to notice things that you did not notice before, because your mind is not distracted by the usual activities, it's not judging, it's not doing random thoughts and going somewhere else. It is present. Mindfulness of eating is another very good practice. This is a practice that was taught to me by my first meditation teacher, Tana Chansoba Nam Toa Thai. It is very good, especially do during sheltering, and if you do it well, you won't overeat. Several people have written about it. One good book that you may have read or heard about is Jan Chosen Bay's Mindful Eating. It's an excellent book. The way that Tana Chansoban taught me to do it, and I'll just give you a slow example, is that here happens to be a bottle of water. So I will look at the bottle of water, pretending that it's on the desk, and I will note looking at it, and note that I want to take a drink. Then I will slowly lift my arm, move over, touch the bottle, squeeze, then move. Every part of the movement is noted. This is something that what he taught me is very slow. So it's something that you usually would do by yourself or in a retreat. One thing that happens with this is that it does curb your eating, although at the same time it makes everything very, very mindful. A handy little book with many everyday practices is also by Jan Chosen Bays. It's called Mindfulness on the Go. And you can read one of these a day and apply them. Very, very helpful, very useful for making your practice part of your everyday life. Another thing that you can do, especially during the pandemic, is chanting and bowing in liturgy. Although a number of Western Buddhists eschew anything devotional, devotion, as you know, has been part of the Dharma wayfaring of Buddhism from the very get-go. Chanting is a standard practice in all schools and sects, except for perhaps the secular Buddhists. Not everyone takes to it at first. Daido Roshi used to describe how he would avoid liturgy when his teacher, Maizumi Roshi, would do it at the Zen Center of Los Angeles. Then, when time came for liturgy, he would duck out the side door of the Zendo and smoke a few cigarettes until the liturgy was over. Then he would come back in again. The other monks at the time and other meditators would bring this up to Maizumi and say, you know, you really ought to make him stay for the liturgy. And Maizumi said, no, let him go and smoke his cigarette. Eventually, as his practice matured, Daido Roshi came to appreciate Zen, the liturgy very, very much, and it became a standard part of the practice at Zen Mountain Monastery. he became an avid promoter of liturgy, chanting, and bowing. In Korea, I met a devout Buddhist judge and his wife who did the 108 bows service every day. In the morning, they bowed standing head to floor 108 times while chanting. This practice, which I dubbed Buddhist aerobics, strengthened their faith. And they did it. They were middle-aged. And they did it. It strengthened their faith. It strengthened their concentration. It was great physical fitness. But that's another way to do it. This kind of bowing is much more prominent in the Mahayana traditions than in the Theravada. I had an American friend in Korea at the time, Suzanne, who wanted to become a Buddhist. And the patriarch of the Choge Buddhist order at the time, Songchol Sinin, required a person bow 3,000 times before becoming a Buddhist. So how many of you would do that, bow 3,000 times as part of your becoming a Buddhist? However, the bows didn't have to be done in one long, exhausting sequence. You could do it in stages and chunks, a few hundred here, a few hundred there, a few hundred more, until you accumulated the 3,000. Well, Suzanne did that. And I think I've mentioned this to some of you in chit chat before. One day while she was bowing in a Buddha hall, she suddenly had the insight, I am the bow. She was no longer some person, Suzanne, bowing. She was the act itself. And that insight, which is a profound one, because it's experiential, arose of itself. It arose out of the practice. It arose out of the bowing. She did become a Buddhist with the name of Tejaheng Bosal. She's in California now. Members of groups devoted to the Pure Land and Lotus traditions, of course, chant is the main practice. These devotional activities pertain especially to the affective side of our nature and can help provide comfort and stability during trying times like today. And this is an important point, is that often the problem, especially when it comes to fear and anxiety and loneliness, we're talking about the emotional side, the affective side, not the intellectual side. And is that which Buddhism needs to deal with in our practice. There are many other things, but first, I thought I would like to ask you, how have you fared so far? And have you used any Buddhist teachings and practices during the pandemic period, during the sheltering period or the semi-sheltering period? If you have used them, have they helped or have they not helped? Did you do a practice that didn't work? So I'd like to hear from a couple of you here and there. And what you can do, I imagine, is you can use the chat. You can text a message to Larry, or you can raise your hand or something like that, and Larry will unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. So does anybody have something they would like to share? We have the noble silence, I think. We have two chats.
I'll help you out here, Michael.
I see that. Okay, go ahead.
Well, the restrictions here in Australia, when it was at the most rigorous, pretty much it didn't affect me at all. Okay, and the reason being was the way I live is no different to the isolation requirements anyway. So the only difference was when I had to go out grocery shopping, the panic buying just meant, you know, sometimes it's potluck whether the stuff you needed on your shopping list was there or not. However, for people who don't normally live the monastic life where you're pretty much isolated anyway, as part of your natural practice. A really good way to deal with this change is to actually set yourself a program. So in the monastery, we have a very almost like a military style program where there's a certain time you get up in the morning, and then what you do, morning chanting, morning meditation, morning chores, clean up and so forth. So if you set yourself, because you're effectively stuck at home, then if you set yourself a program, whether it's daily or even weekly, you lock in the times you have to go out, you need to go out to do your shopping, to do your exercise. Then the other times you do have, and you're stuck at home, if you're not working, because some people are working from home, but if you're not working and so forth, you can use that, take this as an opportunity to actually create your daily retreat, so that you have certain times where you really set it for yourself to either do some chanting or try some chanting if you haven't done anything in the past, to maybe do that meditation you keep talking about but you never actually end up doing. Or if you find those are still a bit hard, perhaps select a particular Dharma book and set that as a goal for that period of time in the day. Just to give yourself a routine, something that helps to ground you a bit more. It has a very similar effect to, you know, the meditation that Michael's been talking about. But for most people who don't do a lot of meditation and really can't get themselves into the style of meditation in every activity they do that Michael was talking about, then by starting off with setting yourself an actual time in the day to do your practice, whether it is you're chanting, reading a book and so forth, getting yourself into that type of a routine helps to re-establish a new anchor for you. And then once this is all over, you can then readjust and see what part of this new lifestyle would I like to keep, and what part of the old lifestyle do I want back, and come up with sort of like a new merger. So take this COVID situation as actually an opportunity to reassess how you actually want to live your daily routine.
Very good. Thank you very, very much. It is good. And even when we don't have the pandemic to keep us at home or something like that, setting a particular time and place for daily practice, especially formal practice like meditation or devotions, becomes a very good way to develop the practice. Very good. I like that idea of developing more, then you can keep some of it later on. Anybody else?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay. This COVID-19 lockdown is messed up my normal routine. Everything is off because I cannot get out to do my social and exercise and everything. But I sit too much and reading all kind of things. But fortunately, I have a lot of Buddhist books for information sending to my Saturday group people. I think they are really swamped with my Buddhist propaganda. So anyway, but I'm still doing my morning bowing, but I don't chant as much as when I go to a monastery for liturgy. But I also encourage everybody. We learned that the what you call that, repentance chanting last year. That is very good for the pandemic period. And I think I do that in the evening for 5 minutes. That makes you feel different before you go to bed. I like everybody to do this morning bowing, I think, probably a little bit difficult in general people. I mean, in general practices, because you need bow so many times and you cannot get up anymore, or you get very painful in your back and something like this. Because I heard a lot of people say that I cannot do that, but I have done that for many, many years, so that's okay. It's like my routine, part of my routine, except when certain time, then I missed it a day or two during the week. But I don't like that, because it's kind of you're gonna develop your habit doing what you're doing. That's a good for my head, I guess, my joint also. So it's a whole body exercise for bowing. I'm talking not just bowing, it's called prostration.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you don't mean just bowing at the hip.
Yes,
You're talking about head to floor.
it is like back to what you were talking about, the mindfulness, because every movement you do, the prostration, you identify what you do. You're bowing down, you're kneeling down, one hand here, one hand there, your head down, flipping your palm, all this little movement is very good. I think it's very good practice for your comprehension.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I have to share.
Well, now you can do it 108 times.
Yes, I started with 49, 20
Excellent.
years ago.
Excellent.
Yeah. Old master was telling me, you do that. And then he checked on me every day. Did you do it? So you have to add few more. I add few more. Finally, 108 times.
Excellent.
Yeah, it took me about like 20 minutes.
Yeah. And that's
so I don't count anymore. I go with the time. I just do it because he even give me a counter, little thing to count 100 or 9 before.
Oh,
100. Yeah. He's one. All right. So next person. Anybody have a share for this kind of routine?
Anybody else?
I think this kind of
okay,
routine
Robin.
also, yes, Henry.
Hi, this is Henry from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I guess having practiced meditation, participate in meditation retreat for many years, I think it is easier for us to cope with this restrictive lifestyle than most other people. And for that, we can be very grateful. I always try to look at the silver lining in the dark clouds. And one of the examples of the silver lining that we now encounter in these pandemic situations is that, for example, the air pollution in the world has greatly reduced as a result of that. And of course, this is a great opportunity for us to catch up with all those things that we've put on the side, on the back burner. So, for example, I cleaned up my garage, organized my photographs, etc., etc. Now it's a pleasure to be working in the garage and doing all those other things that you otherwise never dealt before. Anyway, lastly, I'd like to quote this phrase from one of my colleagues and friend, Dr. Robin Eubanks, and she said, "A setback is a setup for a comeback." So I think I'd like to share this with everybody so that we know that we are preparing for ourselves for a comeback. Thank you very much. And thank you, Michael, for organizing this.
That's very true. This setback is a setup for a comeback is something that I do prison volunteer work, at least I did until the COVID came. One of the things that the men say all the time in the prison, setback is a setup for a comeback. And there's very, very true. And that's true about COVID. Somebody else.
Thank you.
Me?
Yeah, go.
I was just to say that actually the prostration that you do in Massachusetts, they have a group called Bodhi Meditation. They use the prostration method as an exercise for health. That's all.
Oh, it does. Well, that's one of the things that's important when it comes to some of these things like walking meditation, prostrations. You're getting a double benefit. Not only is it good for your practice, your Buddhist practice as such, but it's also very good for your health. I'm fortunate that here on the campus of where I live, Homewood, we have a beautiful walk in the woods, and I have several routes. Normally, most days I'm walking 5 miles, and sometimes I do the Buddhist practice. Sometimes I have people with me, but that's good for your health. And as Faye was mentioning, and my judge friend in Korea, the bowing is also very good for your health as you do it properly. If you do it mindfully, which is the point, the two together. Somebody else?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good, okay. I just wanted to share that with the walking meditation in particular, at this time, I kind of like hang on to that, like for dear life in terms of a rest period, because I'm not isolated, I'm an essential worker, and I'm very close in the political realm where many people don't even believe in the pandemic and won't wear a mask and so forth. So it's a little bit of a different perspective. But what the gentleman that just commented about, you know, like getting ready for the future, I kind of see this, our venerable at Bodhi Monastery, he really emphasizes how everything is conditioned. And I kind of think that we really, for me anyway, I'm trying to stay more present. And because there may not be a future as we predict. We just have to go each day with the way it's going, because I don't see it evolving into anything that was before. It's almost like we're making a turn, you know, a sharp turn off the path, for me anyway. And just to stay in a compassionate mind space like that on it is a daily thing, a daily practice. You know, try to do compassion awareness, you know, when you're out in the mix.
Yeah, that's very good, very important. It is quite true. To stress being in the present and working on the present. The future will unfold one way or the other, but you want to do that. Somebody else.
Yes, can I jump in?
Jump in.
Great. I've noticed I'm doing two things besides the regular, usual routine of meditation. When anxiety arises or fear arises, I spend another 10 minutes or so trying to meditate to acknowledge what's going on and kind of calm the feelings. Another thing I've noticed I've been doing, especially of, you know, where I am right now in my current situation, is to feel gratitude with what is, you know, I have a roof over my head, I have food, I have water, I have the essential things, and I feel just acknowledging that every now and then, you know, makes the other things much easier and less stressful, at least for me.
I agree. Thank you very much for that. Anybody else?
Yes, it's Jane, and I'd like to give a word from our former sponsor, Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. So during the lockdown, there's a lot of opportunities for online meditation sessions and lectures. So I've been tuning in with Venerable Bodhi Wednesday nights at 7, and he's been leading loving kindness and compassion meditation, which is a very good practice.
So how do you get in touch with him? What's the...
I can, let's see, I can send people the email with the link, and then you can get on the mail list. So I'm just thinking about what the best way is for me to get people's email addresses if they're interested. Because chat would be a little awkward. So I don't know.
Can you forward it to Faye, and Faye can send it to everybody else?
Sounds good.
That sounds like a good idea. This is another thing that you can do. For example, I did a Harvard Extension course by a professor in the Harvard Divinity School. It was called Buddhism Through Its Scriptures. And it had 8 sessions. It was a mix of lecture, reading, video, and then you had to respond to questions, and it took me more than 8 days because I tucked it here and there. There are other courses that are coming from the Buddhist Study Center. There are lectures on the tricycle, the Lion's Roar, Buddha Dharma sites, Buddha Dharma, and Lion's Roar, Tricycle, and other publications have been publishing things that you can do. In this copy of Lion's Roar, Calm, Kind, Resilient, things of that kind. But there are the online courses. You can also go to YouTube, and you can get Bhikkhu Bodhi's Anguttara Nikaya lectures, things like that. So thank you very much, Jane, for bringing that up. There's a wide variety of things that can be done from the point of view of learning.
Actually, you can look into the about this Bhikkhu Bodhi retreat. There's actually a Bidama discussion going on right now on Saturday mornings from 9:30 to 11:20. It's going on right now. You can look at the BAUS website, Buddhist Association of the United States.
It's Saturday morning, but today is Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a BAUS. It's BAUS.org.
.org, that's correct. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got my days, Okay, anyway, you can look at the website and you can participate in it. So it's very good, yes, yeah. Although, of course, it's way on the top of your head, but still, it always bears repetition.
Oh, wait till you see what our friends in Australia and Taiwan have got for you this evening. Whoa.
Okay, thank you. All right.
I'm providing the less technical side here. Anybody else? Okay, we're near the end. What I'm going to be doing tomorrow we're going to take a look at Sutra study, and I'm going to be looking during this retreat at a Pali text, a Theravada text, and a Mahayana text. And I'll see you with that tomorrow. I'll probably see you this evening. I might not be exactly on time at 6 o'clock Eastern Daylight Savings Time, but I'll be attending with you. See you then and there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That's
Thank you.